Billie Jean. Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. Now, well, did you look at the picture on your bulletin? It's hard to see this up here. The old days, and even before it was color TV, remember when the picture would pull? Oh man, in the early days of black and white television, I remember all kinds of things. You know, it would all turn sideways, just be lines, and then others, all kinds of things. And my father would say, well, it's pulling, the picture's breaking up. Pictures breaking up. It was something wrong in the receiving. Most of the time, I think that what was being transmitted was clear. It was within the television. One of the circuits went out. Remember TV and most of you are old enough to remember when a doctor came to your house, when the TV technician came to your house and fixed it. I just took a flat screen. I had to replace my flat screen at home. It was just a little one, 46 inches. And it was 5 years old. And I was complaining when I took it in. I did find a shop down on 47th Street that repairs them. And I was complaining because it was only 5 years old. And the television, it was all broken up. It looked like the old days. All these lines. And they said, So they turned it on and said, 50-50. I said, but it's only 5 years old. He said, it's old. Today, it's old. They put such cheap parts in them to make them cheap that 5 years, you did well. And the bigger the screen, the more trouble they're having with them. Oh, thank you. So I'm waiting to see if they can do a circuit modification to make it work again. I said, it's the screen part. Can you replace that? He said, sure, $3,000. That's triple what I paid for the television. Yeah, so anyway, sometimes our pictures in life break up. Sometimes we have in mind exactly what we want to have and experience, and it gets even better. We get something even better that's unexpected. Or it goes the other way. We find some difficult experience that was no part of what we thought we were imaging or holding in mind. Why? Well, sometimes we have an idea of what we want and we seem to have some kind of image in our heads, and then starts to get crowded out because at some other level we want something else or something different. Or people start saying, oh, well, you should have this or you should get that. Did you ever tell somebody you were shopping or hunting for some particular thing? Oh, you ought to get this. I think it was last Christmas, Bishop William was showing me his Apple TV. I have satellite. Oh, you should get this. I still have satellite. People start to put other things in our heads, and all of a sudden, the picture starts to break up or waver. We wanted something or we desired some change in our lives, but then we really didn't believe that it was possible. What do you think that does to your picture? Skew it, twists it. The opinions of others. Oh, how can you want to do that? What makes you think that's going to happen? I have heard plenty of that in my life. What, you've never heard that? Nobody said, what are you thinking? My father had a favorite expression. He generally used it with my mother. Ike, what's wrong with you? How odd. Another thing about our pictures, we hold a picture, an image of what we think we want or want to experience or want to be, but our minds grow. And we outgrow that image. So all of a sudden it's not clear anymore. And then remember, in God mind, in divine mind, everything is complete and pure and perfect. Divine mind has the whole picture and the highest and the best. And sometimes our pictures are either just partial or dim because we don't have a clear concept. Or we say, this is what I want, but based on limited knowledge and limited awareness, when the universe says, but there's so much more. And I'm going to tell you that it's not always bad when your picture breaks up. There have been plenty of things in my life I thought I wanted. Whether it was an experience, whether it was a thing. And many times I've looked back and said, thank you, God, that I didn't get it. In the early 90s, I applied for a faculty position at Unity School and went through a pretty rigorous interview process. I'd been teaching for CEP for a couple of years, and I'd say I was a pretty popular teacher. There's one of my students right there. I didn't scare him too badly, did I? Oh, not too bad. Some, she said, okay. And the day I expected to hear something, Debbie was here as secretary then, and I walked into her office and I said, Debbie, there's a strong part of me that wants them to turn me down. It wasn't long before the phone rang. It was Gary Jones. And he said, I'm sorry, Greg, but thank you, Gary. Because I realized, as much as I love to teach, I didn't want to work there. It wasn't going to mean I left here by any chance. But I decided, at some level, I said, no, that's not for you. Not now. Not there, not now. So, we get a lot of pictures in our lives. When I used to think when I grow up, I'll be able to do what I want. You know, don't you, Jackie? Yeah. Anybody grow up and get to do what you wanted? When I retire, I'll get to do what I want. Did that happen to anybody retired? No, I see. Yeah. I would get married and have a happy family. Yeah. Oh, when I finally get that job that I really, really want, I'll have prestige and fame. I'm going to get that career I've always wanted. Did you? Oh, going to have a big financial cushion. Or hoping for a miracle healing. And somehow the picture never quite gelled in your mind and your heart. Or you had one of those images of your life and then found yourself thinking, and I thought everything was going so well. Lots of surprises sometimes. You can see in our reactions in life very much the same thing in the disciples' lives. They had pictures in their heads too. They thought this struggling, oppressed country of theirs, occupied by the Romans, they thought it would rise again. They thought this kind of unique, unusual man who came along and was kind of allowing them to tag along with him, that he would set up a throne. And remember, James and John, you find this in the 10th chapter of Mark. They went to him and said, we'd like you to do what we ask. What do you want? Well, we'd like you to set it, when you come into your kingdom, to put one of us on your right hand and one on your left hand. You know, like Secretary of State and Vice President. I'm sure that was a little chuckle for him. Because that wasn't the kind of kingdom he had in mind. They had a different picture, a different image. They saw him arrested and then tried, crucified, put in a tomb. They thought how impotent this man was. Some of them fled, remember? Fled. They were afraid of the authorities. They got him. They don't want him to get us. When he even came back from his encounter with the dark side, if one could call it that, their old picture was shattered, but yet the new one had not become clear. Because when they saw him after the resurrection, they didn't know who he was. Their vision of this was not clear. The image in their head. We can see ourselves in these same kind of responses. Judas. Lots of zeal. There's an expression in the Bible, the zeal of thy house hath eaten thee up. Yeah, well, Matthew 27 says, he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. There's a series of actions there. Joseph Humor has called Judas the blaming self, the belittling self. What did he do? He removed himself from the picture, withdrew from the picture, not letting the love of God come through. He withdrew himself from others. It's that great betrayal that part of us can do for us, through us. But the good thing is, it can be separated from us, which is what he did when he hanged himself. Thomas, doubting Thomas, I once got that in meditation. Whatever pictures I was seeing in my meditation, I was thinking, and the words I heard is, you're still doubting, Thomas. Don't you have times where you doubt? Where you doubt sometimes the desires of your heart, the good that you would like to see happen in your life. Thomas, we could kind of call him common sense. He was that fact-minded one. He seemed to believe that what he believed, the man, Jesus, said. He seemed to believe that what he believed and what Jesus said were the same. And they weren't always. You remember in the upper room after the ascension, after the resurrection, he had to look at the wounds. Except I see in his hands the print of the nails, I will not believe. Doubt. Doubt the truth of being. Doubt the truth that was in front of him, but he had to go up and look and scrutinize the hands to make sure. We have this ability to doubt, and sometimes I'd like to suggest that we start doubting our doubts. Stop investing them with the power and remove the power from our doubts. And if we have a picture, hold to it. Say thank you, God, for it. There's a story in the very end of John, 21st chapter. I'd like to actually, instead of read it, I'm going to let someone else read it to you or tell you the story.
After this, Jesus appeared once more to his disciples at Lake Tiberias. This is how it happened. Simon Peter, Thomas, called the twin, Nathanael, the one from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples of Jesus were all together. Simon Peter said to the others,
I'm going fishing.
"We will come with you," they told him. So they went out in a boat, but all that night they did not catch a thing. As the sun was rising, Jesus stood at the water's edge. But the disciples did not know that it was Jesus.
Young men, haven't you caught anything?
Not a thing!
Throw your net out on the right side of the boat, and you will catch some.
So they threw the net out and could not pull it back in because they had caught so many fish. The disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter,
It is the Lord.
When Peter heard that it was the Lord, he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken his clothes off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples came to shore in the boat, pulling the net full of fish. They were not very far from land, about 100 yards away. When they stepped ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and some bread.
Bring some of the fish you've just caught.
Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net ashore full of big fish, 153 in all. Even though there were so many, still the net did not tear.
Come and eat.
None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" because they knew it was the Lord. So Jesus went over, took the bread, and gave it to them. He did the same with the fish. This then was the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from death. After they had...
Nice story, isn't it? So that chapter begins with Simon Peter doing the thing he knew best. I'm going a fishing. Anybody want to go along? They said, we'll go. Now, fish in the Bible are symbolic. They symbolize ideas. Sometimes, great fish, you got a big idea. So it represents our faculty of faith trying to lay hold of an idea. So they go out and they fish all night. All night. Wow. And they don't catch a thing. Hey guys, what'd you catch? Nothing. They don't recognize who or what is asking them. It's that Christ mind in you, the superconscious in you saying, how is this working for you? Are you catching an idea of something you really want? Are you laying hold of an idea of good? Peter wasn't able to do the impossible, so he did what was the best possible thing: fishing. Now, I'm not a fisherman. I think I fished once, caught an octopus. Well, a very small one. And it wasn't on the hook, it was clinging to the line. Down in the harbor at Miami. Anyway, my father wouldn't let me keep it. I thought it was very cute and I wanted to take it home with me. He went, threw it back in. What is fishing, though? You think about it. I watched, you heard my story of being at the Truckee River and the guy who wanted to shoot me. But anyway, I watched the guys I worked with in the band fishing. And what is fishing? Isn't it relaxed expectancy? You bait your hook, you throw it out, and what's there to do? Wait. Expect. Being where such a thing could happen. You want to fish, you go where you can lay hold of those ideas. And you could also think of fishing as a special kind of indifference. You're sitting there, you're fishing, everybody looks sort of relaxed, expectant, but you have to let go of the outcome, don't you? Because it's up to the fish. You can't put them on the hook. You have to let them find your hook. Fishing is an ancient symbol of meditation. Isn't that what you do in meditation? You put your hook into the depths of consciousness, the depths of God, and you wait expectantly. And the kind of that interested indifference. Come what comes. Sometimes you go again and again. No nibbles, no strikes. All the big ones got away. There's this commercial on television. It's just a hoot. This guy is bragging to these professional fishermen about this fish, and you hear him screaming something about, you will not defeat me or something. And then this other guy walks up with this tiny little thing and said, here's your fish. Oh, go put it in the cooler. It was making it out to be something like the great white whale. Yeah. They fished all night. They caught nothing. And then the Christ said, children, what have you caught? My child. What idea have you laid hold of? Well, nothing's come to fruition. Nothing's come of it. A simple instruction. Cast your net on the right side. In Latin, right is dextra, yes. Dextrous comes from that. The left, sinister. We know the word sinister, right? Apparently they were casting their nets on the left side. That's looking outside into the world. That's looking to other people. That's looking to human perception, looking through your five senses, and it wasn't working. It doesn't work for us. That's how we get distorted images that break up and don't come to fruition in our lives. And the simple instruction, cast your net on the right side. What side? It was the God side. The right side. Look to God, not to man. Open yourself to the one mind, to Christ's mind in you for divine ideas. And you get things that live and work. Their nets ended up being so full, you'd think they would break, but they didn't. And remember how many fish? Did you catch the number? 153. Michael Segru, who's one of my teachers, used to say, the Bible is all music and no noise. Even the numbers are important. He said, look at verse numbers. Yes, they were added later, but they're important. They often have keys to the symbols, the codes. 153. What's one? Unity, oneness. Isn't that where we all came from? 5. Human self, physicality, the 5 senses. It seems to be separation. But the goal is 3. Body, mind, spirit. Unified, one. You in a consciousness of your oneness with God. Right here in physicality. Right here in the mind that is expressing in and through you. They finally got the idea. And you saw, there they were, in front of the fire. And he did what? Did you see him break bread? Remind you? Take, eat ye all of this. For this is my... And then it's that new communion. Here, have a piece of fish. An idea. It was a new communion, another communion with that Christ at the center of your being, from whom all pictures are good. All pictures are clear. All pictures are creative. So, when your pictures in life break up, when the concepts you think you want, when the things you think you desire start to seem vague, distorted, look to the Christ self in you. Look inside for that wonderful image, picture of whatever it is you desire. Health, wholeness, peace, prosperity. Go to the source and then hold on to it and allow the process to bring it forth into your life. They sat there on the beach and finally they got the idea. This is the kingdom, right here, right now, to be in the presence of that Christ Spirit, doing natural things in a supernatural way. Just being ourselves and learning to be useful and joyful. And they figured it out. The pictures are never stills. They're always alive. Movies, things that move and grow and evolve.